My name is Vincent Mahoro, and with us here we have Michael. We'll let Michael introduce himself and tell us more, a little bit about himself, where he's from, and yes, basically tell us what are his interests and all that. Welcome, Michael.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Michael. Michael Erhayanmen. My name is Michael Erhayanmen. The Erhayanmen is a Nigerian name. It's a local name in Nigeria, and it kind of means father's pet. Okay. So that's just by the way. I am a medical student. I'm also a graduate of microbiology. I graduated some years ago, but right now I'm a medical student. I'm into social impact, good governance, advocating good governance. I also am into advocating good health and well-being in the society as well as education. I run an NGO, a non-governmental organization known as Correct Boys Initiative, where we are poised with the responsibility of educating young boys, advocating for them and empowering them to see that they are the men that the society wants to see, the good men, yeah, the ideal man that we intend to see in boys. So basically, that's like in a nutshell what I
do. That's great. So, firstly, I'd like to commend you for the great work that you're doing with Correct Boys. I have been following your work online, and I'd particularly like to say I'm impressed.
Thank you very much.
So,
thank you, Vincent.
Yes. So we've recently had elections in Africa, in the African countries in the recent past, especially in the year 2022, last year. We had elections in Kenya where we were able to vote in our president, that is His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. And William Samoei Ruto was one of the two top candidates, but his likelihood to win was really not, you couldn't expect him to win, since it was clear that the state was supporting a different candidate, who by the time was the head of the opposition, Raila Amolo Odinga. And so in this year 2023, we have elections in Nigeria. We'd like to have an understanding, and maybe could share with us what is the general perspective of the population in Nigeria. What do the people feel about the upcoming elections, and what are the expectations? Is there a sense of hope? And what is the general feeling, if you may?
Okay. First of all, I want to commend your concern for governance in Africa. I kind of understand how much your passion is for good governance in Africa. We've worked together in time past, and I know how much your passion is for the African people. You just shared some lights about the Kenyan people, how their elections went, and by the grace of God, like you said, the people's will prevailed. But I would like to take us back to Nigerian history, kind of. Since 1960, when Nigeria gained independence, when you ask people in Nigeria, they'll tell you that we've not been too, in particular, lucky with leaders. Okay, we've had issues with leaders who are really self-centered. And so when you run down from 1960 down to this present day, you would see that Nigeria has been a nation that has not been too lucky. Yes, I use the word lucky because we kind of elect these leaders. And most times you hear people tell you that it is not the elections that bring in these people. It is their self-centeredness and selfishness that brings them into power. And so you hear different things flying about how that votes do not count. There is no need for us to vote. And because when we vote, our votes do not count. These people know who they will put. These people know who they will elect as their leaders. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that light into this, just to say that we as a nation, in this current perspective, as we're preparing for the election period, we are tired. We are tired of all the governments we've had, okay? And I understand that this thing is almost like a pandemic in Africa, where we have bad leaders. But I want to say in particular that Nigeria has not been too lucky with leaders. Not like too lucky, we've not been lucky with leaders. Our leaders have not delivered as much as we want them to deliver. And so the current perspective the current mindset we're bringing into this election is that we have gotten it up to here. We are tired of all the leaders we've had. We are no longer going to take anything short of what is good, as from leadership. And us, we feel it's
That
a
is,
game changer.
yeah.
Yeah, we feel it's a game changer. We feel that if we get it right this time, we are on our way to getting it right continuously. And we also feel that if we get it wrong this time, we are on our way to also getting deeper and deeper, sinking deeper in the ship that we are kind of into. So I feel what I'm saying in essence is that this is a game changer for us. We are tired as a people,
Yeah.
as a people over the leaders we've been having in past times. And we hope that by this election, we'll be able to change the narrative of what leadership should be in Nigeria and in Africa generally.
Awesome. So I believe that the whole wave in Africa is that enough is enough. We are done with the old breed of leaders and you're ready for the new breed of leaders who will be actually bring change and who are not in leadership for their own interest. And so this being said, it is a general understanding that the majority population of the people in Africa, 70% are the youth. And I believe this is also the same case in Nigeria, where we have got a very huge number of youth. And I would also like to understand what is the general perspective of the youth pertaining to these elections, and mostly understanding that these elections will actually mean a lot for the youth, because for the next number of years, the leaders who will be put in place will influence the policy and will have a big say on their future. The other thing is, we'd also like to understand, are the youth excited to vote, or is the sense of hopelessness and feeling that it really doesn't matter who we vote in, we are already tired? Are they also tired of going to the ballot and making their voice heard? What do you think about, or what is the situation and perception around the youth?
Yes,
The youth
I'll take it from the last. I'll take it from the latter part of your statement.
Yes.
Yes, in time past, we as young people, we've believed that okay, our votes do not count. We've believed that yes, we're tired, but then anything can go, anything goes, anything comes, anything goes. That has been the perspective before. That has been our mindset before. But I want to tell you that I'm particularly grateful that in these coming elections, in fact, in this era, youth are beginning to understand their place, as deciders when it comes to electing leaders. And in these particular elections, I am kind of very happy because youths now know where they belong, where they stand, how much power they wield, how much is in the how do I put it now? How much is in the multitude, that the youths are, right? Now, you just made mention of the fact that in the world we have the highest number of people as young people. And in Nigeria currently we have the highest number of the populace as young people. And currently, what I know about us is that we believe that these elections can be decided by us. All right, we feel our voice can be heard. Before, we'd be silent as young people. We'd be silent, allowing things just go. In fact, I argued before from following the notions that I've seen. I've followed the elections for a long time. I've been voting since before 2016. That should be our last general elections was 2019, 2015. Okay, I've been voting since 2011. All right, and what I have observed is that mostly is the old people that votes. And coming into this election, in fact, in the earlier part of the electionary year, I started to argue again that young people may not have a say, that these people will just sleep in their houses, they will not vote, they will not do this, they will not do that. But later I had to change my perspective because I saw how much energy the youths are putting into this. Okay? So youths now understand their place, how much they can decide elections. And so they are going to be taking advantage of that. That's one. And then two, the youth also believe that they can make a difference with their voice this time. I want to bring you back to 2020. I'm very sure you followed the NSAS protest, that happened in Nigeria during that period. That was a marker to the fact that young people can use their voice for society, for societal good and for societal change. And so that has shaped my perspective on the place and role of the young people in this current election. We believe that we are coming into this election to cause a difference. We believe that our voice can be heard, and we believe that we can decide the fate of this election. And if we all come out to vote, and as I'm seeing how much the young people are coming out to register to vote, they are going out to collect their permanent voters card, and they are going out all out, to make to make noise, if you permit me to use that word, to make noise about the election. I'm seeing the energy, and I'm seeing the passion that they are putting into this, and I believe that young people are saying that it is our time to be heard, it is our time to make a difference, and we can decide this election. So that's what I feel.
That is an amazing thing to hear, particularly since I'm very interested in seeing the youth prosper and becoming active in the political field. Now, have the youth actually seen the urgency for them to stand and vie for elective post? Now, it is a general perception that for one to actually stand and to actually vie and be in an elective post, you have to have a lot of money. Now, do we have has that perception been broken? Have we been able to go beyond that point, beyond that perception in Nigeria? And what do you feel about has the number of the youth who have actually expressed their interest to be voted in and be actually active in the parliament and in the decision-making processes? What is the view about that? What is the situation?
Okay. Okay, the truth is, in Africa, in fact, in the world, maybe in the world, you can't remove money from politics. Yeah, I think that's one thing we cannot separate. But talking about urgency of the young people to participate in these elections, I would say yes or no. But I would say no to the particular question that you had asked, whether youths are they are trying to be, there is an urgency for young people to vie for position. I would say no, actually, for these current elections. But I would say yes to the fact that youths are ready to participate fully in these elections. For the first time, I'm seeing that young people in Nigeria are using their voice. Their voices, I'm not saying they shout. I'm saying they are using their voices as, media savvy people. We are young people, and we are on social media, and we are using it for real good this time. Not just to tweet and say, oh, this, or make memes and so on. Yes, we're doing that. We're enjoying ourselves, but then we're also using it as a tool for change, as a tool for democratic revolution in that sense. So young people are kind of in an urgent state to participate in this election. But as to say whether there is an urgency for them to vie for position, I'll say no, because they are in these elections. What I'm seeing from young people is that they want to participate in the fact that they want to have a change in this government. They want to participate in the change and the revolution that wants to happen in our democratic system in Nigeria. So there is no urgency. But yes, I've seen quite a number of people, young people, who are vying for positions, and they've been given the platform. And of course, you won't be able to remove the fact that you have to have some, level of influence and some level of wealth to participate. But I've seen young people who maybe didn't have as much as you think they should have to vie for a position. They've been out, and some of them have been given the tickets in some of these in some of the political parties that they are vying from. Right. So yes, the youth are in an urgent state to want to participate in this election, but that they want to become leaders by all means, no. They want to participate in the change that they want to see in Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay, that is some beautiful news. And Rome wasn't built in one day, and so by the fact that people have expressed an interest in taking an active role in the elections, we hope that in the near future we'll actually see more people, young people, vying for elective positions. And I've actually seen that. I've been following the social media platforms, and it's actually nice. And actually, I've been seeing you campaigning for one PO. You'll get to tell us about that later. And seeing very many other people who have been very active in the campaigning period, asking people to go out, register for votes. That is beautiful and that is amazing. Now, another component, other than the people who will actually go vote, cast their votes, and actually decide who their leader will be, we also have to put into consideration the body that will be running the election. So we believe we have an electoral commission in Nigeria. So,
yes.
In your view, do you feel that the electoral commission is well prepared? Do you feel like it has influence from the state? Does it have the sort of autonomy and independence that it's supposed to have so that it can run free and fair elections? And do the people have confidence that the electoral commission will actually deliver on its mandate?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, we have an electoral commission known as the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission. That's our That's our independent body that runs elections for us in Nigeria. Of course, we have skepticism from the citizens about how transparent they would be. That has always been, and that will continue to be, of course. It's not in our climb alone. I think it's also in other climes as well. But so far, for me, I feel the INEC has shown some level of responsibility and integrity as much as I would want to demand from them. I'll give you instances why I feel they are showing some level of responsibility and integrity. First of all, I want to say that the timetable for our elections came out about a year ago, which was very nice, and I feel that was an amazing one. That was commendable. It came out early enough, so everybody knew that although they shifted one time, they shifted the elections, the timetable of the elections later. But then I feel checking at the timeline of what they've been doing, of what INEC has been doing, starting from when the primary elections was called, when candidates had to be submitted to the National Electoral Commission, looking at the timetable.
Michael, I've lost you for a moment. Yeah. Sorry, I've lost you for a moment. Kindly pardon, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so checking out those timelines of how they've called for parties, to send in their representatives, how they've also shown how the updates of the elections will be. I want to say that I'm really impressed by that. And also, I want to say also that I'm impressed by the level of commitment they've shown to vote house registration. They called for voters registration. Voters had to come out, the citizens had to come and register for their permanent voters card. And at the time when they said they were going to bring out the permanent voters card, they brought it out. And one of the most important parts of me, commending them is how much they've shown integrity and responsibility in some of the elections we had last year. We had the elections in Osun State last year. There was a state in Nigeria called Osun State. The elections, to me, was pretty unfair. It was okay. INEC showed a level of responsibility and integrity to that elections. And that I want to commend them for. So we've had elections, I think about 3 elections now so far in Nigeria, state government elections, I mean, that they've shown integrity, they've shown responsibility, they've shown that they are independent indeed. So coming into this election in February, 25th of February, I am saying that I'm particularly kind of, relaxed, and I have this level of trust in the Independent National Electoral Commission to deliver as much as they do. But like I said, the citizens will still have skepticism about how that they may not be independent indeed. They will be influenced from external bodies here and there. Of course, you may not be able to rule that out 100%, but I'm saying that in the larger percentage, in the larger note, these people they are ready. They are ready.
Nice. That is good to hear. Now, in Africa in general, and I think it's all over the world, that elections are an emotive subject. And with elections, we have got people who have got strong attachments and who really like their preferred candidate to win. And so elections being an emotive subject, there is often the likelihood that if your candidate is not able to win, some people might go to the extreme and lead to cause peacelessness. For instance, you have had nations, that is Ghana, which used to sort of have an history, and we actually use Kenya in the year 2007. You had the post-election violence. We have seen these happening in so many African nations, particularly.
Yeah.
And so this is of great concern, particularly in Nigeria, where we have 2 major candidates, and we have got people who believe that their candidate has to win, and you have also got politicians who have accustomed themselves to inciting and using the youth to cause violence. Now, what are your expectations? Do you feel like the population, the populace is mature enough to handle this scenario in a peaceful manner, to be able to accept the results, in whichever way they come, they come, and are people enlightened enough to know of the legal mechanisms that they may use in case there is an election dispute? Do you feel like the elections will be peaceful and that people are actually ready to maintain that sense of brotherhood even after the elections?
Okay. Given to Nigerians, left to Nigerians, we are ready to accept the fate of this election. Okay, we've had enough of bloodshed. We've had enough of violence. We've had enough of killings and so on. We've seen that in time past. We're still seeing them now. We have tribal wars and tribal disputes in some areas, and we have insurgency in some of the parts of the northeast. So we've had, for me, I feel Nigerians have had enough of bloodshed. Nigerians have had enough of violence. And so left to us as a country, left to us as a people, we would accept the fate of this election. But of course, the whole world knows what our choice is. You know, we've made our choice known. We've made our voice known. We've said this is who we want, and almost everybody knows that we have a choice. Left to us to decide who our leader will be in the forthcoming elections. We already know who our leader should be. But like I said, Nigerians, left to us as a country, we are ready to accept the fate of this election, whatever comes. We've had the worst of times. This will not kill us. This will not break us. This will not destroy us, you know, as much as it has done in time past. But we are hoping that our voices will prevail. We are hoping that what we want comes to fruition, because this is, we are no longer sentimental. We're not looking at our own personal gain anymore. We just want a nation that works. We just want a nation that is progressing. We just want a nation that is thriving. That is what we want as a nation. Okay, but I also feel that, of course, there will be scrupulous elements that we want to take advantage of the whole election, because I know that there will be disgruntled people who will not be satisfied with the outcome of the election, and I'm hoping that they will be matured enough, like you have already, opined, that they will be matured enough to handle the outcome of the elections. And if they feel disgruntled, they should seek the appropriate legal measures to bring in their grievances to light. Go to the Supreme Court if possible. Just seek justice if they think that they are not getting the outcome they want. And of course, like you have said, we have about 3 major political parties running for this election. 3 major. Sometimes people will tell you that it's 4, but we have like 3 major, and we all know who our choice are as a nation. And we're hoping that by the grace of God, our choice we emerge as the winner by the grace of God. Yeah.
Yes. So that is very good, and especially coming from a young person in the population of the youth, that the people have committed themselves to upholding that is peace, to upholding the legal mechanisms. Now, we've had scenarios where most African nations have complained and have actually attributed to the elections being influenced by the countries in the West, and where they feel that their decisions are actually not, where their voice is actually being subverted, where the decisions aren't actually, do not get to make the final decision because there is undue influence. And this has been the case in DRC, where most people have been saying that this nation is not able to progress because we've got influence from France, we've got the USA trying to sabotage the elections, trying to make sure they decide who will be the leaders, that they can continue exploiting the resources that we have in Africa. Do you feel that this is the same scenario in Nigeria, or can Nigerians actually stand and say that we have actually got full control of our country, and we feel that there will be no Western influence in these elections, and even if the West and any other nations, be it the East, the North, the South, they try to influence these elections, that this election will be the true voice of the Nigerians?
Okay. I will not totally rule out the influence of world powers when it comes to the matters of Africa. Africans will always say that we have this issue of the influence from the West. Yeah. Even in the Middle East, nations, like, let's just generally say some world powers trying to influence and encroach on our land as a people. All right. We've had that. And one of the best ways to do that is through elections, because they feel that if they can form an alliance with a particular party, they can form an alliance with a particular candidate who would be able to sell the integrity and will of the people to them, they will be able to exploit more. Of course, these people, let's be unbiased. These people, some of them are very selfish. They want to continue to exploit us as a nation. They want us to always go to them for handouts. to always seek their support. Oh, please come and help us. We are in this mess. We are in this, we are in that. They always like that. They always want to see that. And of course, they know that there are a whole lot of resources in Africa, particularly Nigeria, for instance. There we have oil, all right, and we have some other mineral resources. And I will not be surprised if there is an influence from the West, if there is an influence from these world powers, so want to influence and encroach on this election. But I want to say that as Nigerians, we understand where our place is now. We understand that this has a direct effect on us as a people. Again, I will not be surprised if we have some political parties and we have some people, we have some candidates who are already going to them for assistance. Oh, come and help us. Come and make sure that I win. If I win, I will exchange this for this. I will exchange this for that. I will not rule out that. But I'm saying that as Nigerians, we understand where our place is. We understand that our voices is what will count in this election. We're not going to be leaving this to the hands of fate and say, oh, our elections do not count. Our votes do not count. And so we will not vote. Oh, we'll just allow anything be. No. We are coming out in full mass to vote. We are coming out as a people to voice out our grievances and say enough is enough. We've had enough of all the bad leaders we've been having. I want to change this time. This is who we want, and this is who we hope will become our leader. And if there is any influence from the externally or from the West or from wherever, and it's coming to encroach on this election, we're saying that our voices can still be louder than their influence. Okay, that's what we feel. But I'm like that. I will rule out their influence. That I will rule out the possibility of them trying to come and encroach on our land or trying to come and influence this election. I will not totally do that, because I feel that because some of these people are selfish, they will be wanting things that would, I will favor them personally. I will not rule that actually.
That is wonderful. I think it is important that you've actually also mentioned that we have an aid pandemic. People have made the grant business. There's a grant business where we now have people coming from other nations. They're given money, go help those poor Africans. And the end objective is to exploit the people, which is actually a very sad state. Yes. So now we've had you speak on behalf of the Nigerian people and giving us the general perspective on the elections, the youth perspective, and the preparedness of the Electoral Commission. Now, I would like to speak to you as Michael and get to know what are Michael's expectations of these elections. Who is the preferred candidate? We can start with that. Who is your preferred candidate among the many?
Okay, I've been kind of loud. I've been loud for a long time about it.
Yes.
Coming to the decision of the various parties to send in their candidates to the INEC when they were doing their primary elections. We have what we call primary elections here. For instance, we could have a particular political party having, say, less 1, 2, 3, 4 candidates coming out for a particular position, and so the INEC gives them the power to do their own primary elections. They call the primary elections, where they select a particular candidate that will represent the party in the forthcoming election. And so, in the build up to that, I had a particular candidate, and that was Professor Yomi Osinbajo, who is the current Vice President of Nigeria. He was vying for the position of the president under the All Progressive Congress in Nigeria. So I was all loud about him. I was all out for him because I knew his capacity. I knew what he could do if he was elected president. But unfortunately, he couldn't scale through the primary elections. So another person won the primary elections. At the time, I was caught in between. I had to now think: should I go for party or should I go for an individual? And so I took my time to educate myself about the various candidates who were coming out for this particular position. And I came to a conclusion that I had one person who fits into all the leadership qualities that I want in a president. And like I said, I've been all loud about it. I've been all out for it. And that's Mr. Peter Obi, who was a former governor in Nigeria. Right? He has run. This is like the second time he will be running. The first time he ran as in the presidency was as vice president to Atiku Abubakar, who is the current flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP in Nigeria. And so he wanted to run under that platform as well, the People's Democratic Party, but he was not given the ticket. In fact, before the primary elections, he pulled out, saying that he does not like the build-up in the party. He's not satisfied with what is going on around the party, the integrity of the party, and responsibility of the party to deliver adequately in the primary election. So he pulled out from the primary elections and joined himself. That was before INEC would close their, the gates for parties to send in their candidates. So he joined himself with the Labour Party in Nigeria. And since then, I want to say that since then, when he pulled out and made his decision known to all Nigerians, and this is why he's leaving the People's Democratic Party to join the Labour Party, Nigerians has been all out for him. Yeah. And I am one of those Nigerians who believe that if Mr. Peter Obi becomes our president, Nigeria will be good for
Michael, we've lost you for a minute there. Yes, okay. Now we can. You're back. Yes.
Okay, so I feel personally,
yes,
as many other Nigerians, that if Peter Obi becomes the president of Nigeria, like I said, we'll be better for it. We're on our way to glory days, where Nigeria will become the pride of Africa, where Nigeria will become an example and an envy of nations in Africa. Peter Obi embodies the characteristics, the attributes of what the president should be. He's intelligent. He knows what economics is. He knows how to bring us out of the messy situation that we are in as a nation. He's a leader. He understands how to lead. He understands how to have been led. He understands the nature of Nigerians. He knows that as a leader, as a political leader now, it is not for you to begin to exploit on the resources of the people. Rather, the resources of the people are for them to prosper. He understands our pain. He understands where we're coming from. Mr. Peter Obi embodies the character of a good Nigerian. Mr. Peter Obi knows the passion of these people. He knows the passion of our people. He understands where we are coming from. He knows our history. He knows how much we have been charged in time past. He is not going there. We are all confident. He is not going there to enrich himself. He has shown that in his track records. When he was governor, he said he was the only governor, who did not fly in flamboyant, aircrafts. He was using public transport or public planes. He was not there just for self-aggrandizement. No. He was doing what he did for the people. And he said when he was leaving office, he left a huge amount of money in the coffers of the government for the next governor, unlike what other governors will do, where they will leave debts. In fact, currently, our current president is going to be leaving a debt up to the tune of over 17 trillion naira or so for the next president that is going to be coming. All right, so Mr. Peter Obi understands us as a people. He understands what leadership is. He understands what economics is. He understands where we are as a people. He understands where we are coming from. And he knows how to take us to the next level that we want to be. And that's why I'm rooting for Mr. Peter Obi and every other Nigerian as well. Yeah.
Okay, that is, we wish your candidates all the best. And
hopefully.
We are, yes. So it is often believed and it is said that one of the perfect indicators of our country is its health systems. And you've said that you're really passionate about good health and well-being.
Now, and well-being, yes.
Yes, this is one of the areas that I'd like to inquire to you about your preferred candidate, who is Peter Obi. Now, when it comes to improving the health systems in Nigeria, from where they currently are and making them better, I believe you've said a lot of things about why he is your preferred candidate. When it comes to improving the health system and this is a great issue, not only in Nigeria, but the whole of Africa, where we find our leaders, once they get sick, they are flying to India, the US, the UK. Now, will Peter Obi, do you feel like he's able to transform the health system? You've said he's able, and in terms of the economy, you've already given testament to his ability to perform. Now, when it comes to the health systems, do you feel like he's the right man for this?
Okay. Categorically, I would say yes. Okay. I'm a doctor in training, and I understand the health sector quite as much as I should. I understand first of all, that we have an endemic, let me use an endemic in Nigeria, which I feel is like a pandemic in Africa, of the migration of doctors. Immediately doctors are done with their trainings in Africa. They are exported, not like they are exported, but they export themselves to other climes where where the health sector is more appreciated. There was an Abuja declaration at the time in Nigeria where I think it was African nations that came together to decide that we'll be making this percentage of our. There was a declaration. I've forgotten the year now, but it was called the Abuja Declaration. And when our president, this current president, President Muhammadu Buhari, came to office, one of the things that he promised us, in fact, not when he came, before he came to office, he promised us that no government official would be going out of the nation for any health checkup. And it was sad, really sad and unfortunate that when he came into office, he spent the larger chunk of his first tenure in the hospitals abroad. In fact, we want to say sometimes that when he had headache, maybe a little pain in his body, the next thing is flown out of Nigeria to the UK where he will be doing his checkup. And it was quite sad because that left us as a nation in the states where we didn't even understand what was going on anymore in our health sector. And it is also sad to know that the budgetary allocation for health is so minimal compared to, for instance, the salary of the legislatures, for instance. And that's quite sad. But Peter Obi is coming. In fact, just recently, I think last week, he was in an interview on Channels TV. There was a channel in Nigeria called the Channels TV where he was doing a town hall meeting. And someone asked him this particular question, whether he will be going out for checkups in other nations when he becomes president. And he said categorically no, that he was not going to go out to other nations to do his checkup. And that's what I believe the president should do. Although, yes, we've had a president before who had said that I was not going out to, do that. But we've seen in the life of Mr. Peter Obi that he does his things in Nigeria. Okay? He is promising that he's going to have a high level of allocation to the health sector. That in his time, if, for instance, the level of poverty has been reduced and there is a reasonable amount of our budgetary allocation allocated to the health sector, we could have, the universal health coverage in the term now actualized in Nigeria, where people will no longer, be able to look for health. What's the word now? People will no longer look for health attention. Because they don't have money, they will no longer look for health attention because they no longer have money. So there will be a universal health coverage for everyone. So he has promised that. He has said that he's not going to go out of the nation, to seek medical attention. He has not done that before. Checking at his track record, he has not done that before, and he's promising he will not do that. And he's also promising that he's going to give a quality budgetary allocation to the health sector. And we are hoping that when he becomes president and he does these things, Nigeria's health system should have improved, drastically.
Nice. That is, you have expressed quite some high hopes and high beliefs in which I really hope he delivers once he gets elected.
Yes,
so
yes.
We have you. I hope I'll get to pronounce your name right. You said Erhayanmen.
Exactly.
So,
that's right.
Erhayanmen.
Yeah.
Erhayanmen.
Me.
Yes. You have expressed, it's clear from your statements, from this conversation that you have got strong and, you've got a sincere interest in seeing Africa thrive, especially in its leadership. And so, in as much as you're pursuing to be a medical doctor, as much as you're studying to be a medical doctor, do you see yourself having a future in politics? And if you were probably to get into politics, what are some of these key areas that you feel that you need to address? For instance, maybe as a medical profession, you might have a say on the current situation where I think it's still a pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. And one of the saddest scenarios was where we could see African nations begging for vaccines. And so it brings one to wonder and question, how comes we still are not able to, we don't have our own vaccine plants, enough vaccine plants for our own people? How comes we still have to go beg for it? And where are we able to, we used to have our own healing systems. We used to have our own medicine. As a leader, if you got elected, if you have actually, first of all, you're going to understand if you have any interest in the political field. And if you've got any interest in the political field, what would be approach to address some of these health concerns? And how do you see the future of Africa being at large?
Um,
Over to you.
okay, first of all, I'll start by saying that I am quite passionate about politics. Yeah, this happened because I have come to understand that as much as we are passionate as a people or as a person, for instance, about societal good and social change, which I am into. I'm into social impact, and I hope that our nation, our people, becomes better for it. But then I feel that some
Michael, yes.
movie comes from a place.
Pardon, kindly, if you don't mind. We lost you for a second there.
Sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so as I was saying, I mean, some of the changes that we want to see, as much as we want to see them, will come when we are in the place of policy making and implementation. And one of the ways to get into the places where we are able to make policies and implement them is to be in the helm of affairs, is to be in leadership. And to get into leadership, somehow you have to be a politician. If you're going to go into politics, if you're going to be a leader, a political leader. So that has fueled my passion for politics, because I feel that I am somebody who wants real good for people, who wants real good for society. But as much as I want to see, depends on how much I am able to influence decisions, how much I'm able to influence policies and implement them. And so that would eventually bring me into politics. So yes, answering your question, I would like to go into politics in the near future. And when it comes to implementing and making policies for health, I would say that one of my focus will be on health. Like I said earlier, I'm quite passionate about health, education. And these are like the two things I feel that as Africans we're lacking. We lack health because there are no quality delivery of health facilities, of health policies to us as a people. All right. So I would like to see real change in the health sector, and I would also like to see real change in education. Okay. Someone said that as Africans we may not be held in chains anymore, but one of the bondages we have been held in is illiteracy, is ignorance. So for me, I feel that we can break free and become real free when we are educated, maybe locally educated in our local education, our indigenous education, or maybe in the Western education, whichever one, provided we are really educated to
we think we are experiencing some network challenges. Yes, I think Michael is back. Kindly, Michael, we've not had the last question. Yes, that's okay.
So I was talking about education. Yeah. So I feel that education is the foundation, is the bedrock to whatever we want to see. All right. So I feel that if our people are educated, whether in our indigenous form of education or in the Western form of education, we would be able to bring about the positive changes that we want to see in the various sectors. For instance, the health sector, we'll be able to bring about the reforms if we're really educated. We'll be able to bring about the reforms that we want to see in the health sector. We're able to bring in our education now as educated health personnel into seeing that our nation is better for it in the health sector and in education. These are my two major passions. And if I become a political leader, I would focus really on education, and I'll focus in the health sector, because it is really those people who are healthy, right, that will be able to lead well, that will be able to live well, right? So these are like my two passions. And as a health personnel that I will be, when I go into politics, I will see that there are reforms. I will see that there are policies that will favor the health sector. You know, basically, yeah, that's what I feel I will do when I get into politics. And yes, I will get into politics in the near future.
Oh, that is amazing, and we wish you all the best as you
Thank you.
mentioned politics, and also as you approach general elections. So it's been great to hear from you, and I hope that we'll get another chance so we can also speak about more areas pertaining the development and growth of Africa in general. So it's been great having you, Michael. So
thank you, Vincent.
Yes. Thank you. So this has been Michael Erhayanmen from Nigeria, giving us the perspective on the general elections from the general perspective of the general populace, and the youth perspective, the preparedness of the Electoral Commission, and also telling us the future that he has in mind for Africa. So with the leaders such as Michael in mind and in place for Africa, we definitely have a bright future. That is all from us, and have a good day.
Thank
I
you.
think, yes, we'll catch you there, and I hope I've not taken too much of your time. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was nice having you as well. Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we can start.
Okay, I think we can. Yes.
Okay, so